This is Acid Root. So I'm going to talk to you guys about top 10 winter songs. Now, this is definitely a list of songs. This is not the by the book definitive, but I definitely feel like these are 10 good songs to consider in the winter time when it's that time of year. Basically, anywhere from about like the last week of October to like the first week of April, somewhere going stretching about as far as like late March, first week of April if it's still cold around that time. These are not Christmas songs. These are not like jingle bells, holiday songs, that type of stuff. This is just music that when it's cold, when you're wearing like hoodies and coats and leather jackets and that type of stuff, or it's brisk out and snowy out and wintry kind of out, this is the kind of music that I would suggest that could kind of be in there. Now, this could have been really taken to an extreme and kind of included some songs that are like not singles or songs that you would ever hear on the radio. That seemed really kind of tricky and that might have taken a lot longer. So these are going to be songs that were kind of popular when they first came out in the winter time and just happened to be like real kind of cold highlights just going through the holiday seasons and that type of stuff. So that's kind of the situation. But song number one is Bedrock. Now, this is off of the We Are Young Money album from 2009. To me, this just sounds like an easy kind of holiday song. I mean, it sounds kind of, in some ways, for the younger set, but I can just easily see this as like a nice winter and snowy kind of song. Definitely kind of gives me that kind of vibe about it. Just real kind of holiday cheer and more kind of gives me more of like that holiday cheer kind of song. It's a nice kind of cuffing season kind of cold dates kind of feeling type stuff for that sort of thing. I'm gonna make your bed rock. It just kind of comes off as more of like, I mean, I feel like Every Girl, the other single from that album, was more of like a summer one, but this definitely kind of has like a cuffing season and kind of cold season kind of vibe towards it. Song number two is Dark Horse by Katy Perry. And oh yeah, Bedrock was by Young Money. But Dark Horse is by Katy Perry and Juicy J. It's off of her 2013 album Prism. This is definitely one that I was not expecting from Katy Perry. I mean, prior to like this project Prism, I mean, apart from maybe like E.T. or something, Katy Perry never veered this dark, and this kind of feels more of like a kind of mild pop trap kind of song almost. I mean, Juicy J was a nice touch on here, but it just really gives off a kind of cold season where you see like the Christmas lights up and that kind of vibe. It just has like, I mean, Katy Perry's kind of icy kind of vocals where she talks about getting what she wants, and the song just comes off as kind of like an ice queen in a lot of ways. Kind of got that same vibe. It just feels like more, not, it just doesn't strike me as too much of like a summer song as much. Kind of would have to say it kind of has more chilling and kind of more cold, kind of like just a lot more brooding and kind of in like a cold-blooded kind of attitude, but it's in a sexual vibe, of course. So it's just nice how that worked. In the Night is number three by The Weeknd, and this is off of his Beauty Behind the Madness. I remember when this came out as a single back in 2015. This was like a song I heard in like December 2015, January 2016. It just makes sense for like the cold weather. It's real brisk with like the biting winds and that kind of stuff, just walking up the street or the alley or something like that, just kind of feeling that definite kind of coat kind of weather. I mean, a lot of these are going to be songs that were released as singles in the winter, but it's just, I feel like when they dropped as singles, they were just so poignant to where they still maintain that energy. Or I think In the Night, if you play it in the summer, it comes off to me as just a better song for the winter, just because of the aspect of how it kind of went. But it just really feels kind of like when you're talking about In the Night as The Weeknd as in the song, it kind of feels more in like a colder night more so than the ambience being switched. Like song number four is Demons by Imagine Dragons. This is another one that was released as a single in like early 2013, so it's about 10 years old now. I feel like Radioactive was just a summer hit, just that kind of that guttural kind of ambience in the chorus that Imagine Dragons had on Radioactive. The energy is just so much more mellow and kind of like scaping and a lot more emboldened on Demons. It just feels like the sparkling kind of glittering production on there just feels like a song you'd hear in December, January, and February and that type of stuff. And it's a makeshift song on top of that. It's just a real makeshift song that kind of has the vibes of something when you do have to go into work in the winter, scrape the snow off your car, get there, and have coats to take off and that type of stuff. It's just an easy kind of makeshift song for the colder weather when it's not 80 degrees outside and 90 degrees outside and stuff. So it's good to kind of have that. Number 5 is Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa. I just feel like this one, I definitely feel like this one, the bells and the kind of clinks and the jingling and like the verses, it's not meant for summer. It just seems like it's a lot more November, December bound, just the way it kind of is. I feel like the energy would have just had a different type of production if it was intended for like May or June or something. I don't It's not often that you see Black and Yellow kind of advertised like as like a graduation song or like a summer song or what you would hear at like 4th of July or something like that if you're in America. It's not very barbecue-esque. I think definitely it's kind of more of like a basketball game, football game kind of stuff. I mean, Black and Yellow, he was advertising the Pittsburgh Steelers. That just kind of happens to be a thing about it. So it's football season for like the fall and winter and that type stuff. So another number 6, number 6 for like the winter songs is Timber by Pitbull. Now, if you can't find this song, it's on Pitbull's The Meltdown EP that came out in late 2013. Kesha really knocked this hook out of the park. I really feel like this reminds me of a song I would listen to in November. I think I've gotten drunk a few times to this song. I miss this song in particular as far as that kind of goes. This is an easy song to kind of, this just feels like a November Thanksgiving kind of song you hear at like a beer pong party, something like that. Places where there'd be drinks in the winter and it's kind of cuffing season and hoodie season and that type of stuff where you can see your breath. Really got some good vibes from it. I mean, this simply does not feel like a spring song, something that you'd hear in like Easter season or Cinco de Mayo or something like that, or like Labor Day. It just doesn't feel like any of those particular type holidays as far as that goes. Some of my visuals, I don't know what that's called. It's kind of like when you have that order of not disorder, but thing about yourself where you see songs as like colors or music as colors. I kind of get that vision with seasons. I don't know if there's a thing for that, but I see Timber as kind of like a wintry kind of song. Dance Dance by Fall Out Boys, number 7. And this was a song that was released in like the fall of 2005 and crested into the winter of 2006. This is an easy kind of party song and kind of get crunk kind of song in terms of that. It's a lot more up close and flirty and personal than like Sugar We're Going Down was from that same album. I just feel like this one is just easily kind of like a house party in like a November, December kind of setting where it's going to be kind of more in coats and that type of stuff. Just kind of not quite so much in your backyard or on the porch, something like that, just in the hot blazing summer, something like that. I just feel like Dance Dance is a little bit more up close and personal. Number 8 is The Monster by Eminem. This was a huge song, hit number 1, and I feel like Rihanna's kind of chorus, like I feel like Love the Way You Lie was kind of like a sprawling summer song that just stretched endlessly, and this was kind of like escaping, kind of burrowing, kind of like malaise of a song in terms of like a breakup. But the song The Monster with Rihanna and Eminem has so much more of like a spiffy and spruced up kind of feel towards it. It has so much more pep. Like Love the Way You Lie had so much malaise towards it, and it's just kind of hazy. But this song is it kind of feels like you overcame something, you're battling your demons, and it just feels like it has so much more of like a spruced up energy where Eminem kind of talks in the way, or it's just kind of like, it just feels like he's not so much brazen with his battle as much as he's kind of celebrating now that he's like more so. And it's just kind of the situation. I mean, Rihanna, if you're paying attention to her chorus, she's just kind of peppy also. She had a lot of energy in the song and just comes off as a nice winter bop, just like, hey, things are kind of going good. Whereas in Love the Way You Lie, it felt like a lot more embattled with it and kind of this malaise to it. It was just a lot more. But this works as like a nice winter tune. It was good seeing Rihanna and Eminem pair up again. Number 9 is Break Up With Your Girlfriend by Ariana Grande. Now, I used to hear this song a lot in the winter. This is a song that just remains popular. This is a song that just remains popular even today. I mean, Ariana Grande really used to be on the charts like all the time back in the day. And this is just one that just felt like an easy kind of gotta go to work at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. kind of makeshift kind of song for that. But the thing about it is it's just so sexualized that this is kind of like, I mean, Ariana, if she had a job, probably didn't even care that she just had had sex like 45 minutes ago or 2 hours ago or something, is going into work horny as fuck. I mean, it's just the way that the song, it's not makeshift kind of material that you would think is typical. It's saying, break up with your girlfriend, I want you right now. So it's just interesting, but it does kind of have, like, for makeshift kind of tunes. I know a lot of women and males and folks have heard this song probably in January, February, March, and like the winter months as far as that kind of goes. I mean, it's pretty. You can hear it all year round, but it has like that extra emphasis just when it first came out in the winter time. Just kind of comes off as like a going to work kind of tune in the early morning and cold weather and that type stuff. And then number 10 is Falling Away From Me by Korn, and this came off of their 1999 album Issues. I really didn't do too many 90s songs, but Korn, because they still have their hits played from the 90s today, I felt like this was a good one. So yeah, this is the creepiest one. This one maybe not so much be a January tune, but I just feel like the kind of eerie howls in the song, definitely late October and November. But I just feel like the overall creepiness of it just feels like a lasting kind of winter song. It just has that haunting feel towards it. And John Davis just does an excellent job with it the whole way through, and he just knocked the song out. It's still a highlight even today. I mean, apart from like, like Freak on a Leash and the other song, the other single from that one, I forget what that other single is called. Yeah, I can't think of the other single from the album with Freak on a Leash on there. But yeah, it's just this was the lead single off of Issues, and it definitely kind of has like a very kind of haunting feel. It was nice that this album came out in the winter because Korn does a pretty good job with that. Their ghostliness and just their overall eerie and kind of like shivering kind of atmosphere just works extremely well in that format. This is just easily a haunting tune to last from November all the way to like March when it started getting warmer again. So that's kind of the concept. All 10 of these, I feel like these all have like a nice, just to get in the Christmassy and holiday kind of mood, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Valentine's Day, that kind of mood, if you don't just want the holiday tunes that kind of go along with it. So it's just an extra kind of batch. I feel like summer tunes are kind of like the ones everyone will say, like the songs of summer and the rap songs of summer and some of that type of stuff. But let's get some winter ones. Let's just see what people are listening to when it's cold out and it's hoodie season and coat season and that type of stuff. I think it's interesting.